Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is March 8th, 2023, and it is National Women's Day. It's a big celebration, and we're just so excited to be here with you today. You can tell that my voice is still a little shot because, wow, can we just say, I can't say enough about our Crystal Awards and conference last week on board the Harmony of the Seas. So much talking, so much networking, so much fun was had by all, hence the hoarse voice. I'm still feeling it, as are my feet that are still tingling from being on the dance floor every night. We want to thank our gracious hosts at Royal Caribbean Cruise Line. We just had such a fantastic time. You'll see the pictures posted. If you didn't get an opportunity to go this year, we hope that you'll join us next year on board the Celebrity Reflection. So we're really excited about that. Personally, you guys, I get to talk to you every week through this vessel. Seeing you in person and being able to shake your hand or hug you was just really such a breath of fresh air and just really, really special for me. So I just get to look back at my face each week. You guys get to look at me, and it was nice to be able to look at you and hear from you for once, for a change. So before we get into an amazing chat today with some fantastic women, just want to share a couple of updates for you. Last week on board, right after our awards conference, we did some recording for KHM Today. We had some fantastic agents on. We had some winners on. Bill Coyle spoke, Terry Morrison spoke, and we put that all together. Unfortunately, with the internet, we were not able to upload it as a replacement episode last week while we were on the ship, but it is live on YouTube now. So I hope you'll go watch that. It really is fantastic. And Ashley Newton from our marketing team, our video team, really did such a great job putting that all together. So we will hope that you will go and watch that episode. And you guys, for KHM agents only, and I'm sorry to those of you that are tuning in from other places, we love you still, but this is an announcement just for our KHM agents. Today and today only is a Carnival Cruise Line booking challenge. So be sure to jump in the portal, find out the details of that, but you can really do some great work with your clients if they're booking and ready to book today. So details are in the portal. They're also in the KHM Insider that came out yesterday. So take a look at that. All right, you guys, let's get started with this week's show. Be sure to pop in if you are here and live and say hello by typing your comments into the chat there. Our first guests are some incredibly talented women. They're here to celebrate National Women's Day with us. Please welcome Sistine Glover, Susie Flores, and Virginia Ambushemi from the education team. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Up, we're missing one. Did someone drop off? There she is. Well, we're so happy that you guys are here with us today. This year, there's this theme for National Women's Day. They always have a theme. And I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really know about this until a couple years ago. And then funny enough, I don't know if people just kind of, if women started jumping on and like learning more about it, but I can't tell you the number of texts I've gotten today saying, hey, so happy you're my friend, National Women's Day. And I mean, they've been going all morning, and I can't tell you, it's probably been maybe 3-4 years since I've known that this is an actual day. Did any of you, like, have you known about this for years and years and years, and I'm just new to the table?
I didn't, Carolyn. I've gotten lots and lots of emails, though.
Yeah. Sistine, did you know about this? Have you
I
known
didn't
about
know,
this?
but same here. I started getting texts this morning, and I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Okay, I didn't know it was a thing to do. I didn't know."
Yeah. And Susie?
Thanks to social media, I knew. Yeah.
How else do we know about anything? Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's really kind of nice. And I've loved kind of the sisterhood this morning of just kind of getting texts, cheering each other on as we start our Wednesdays. Every year I've done a little research, and there's a theme this year. And this year it's digital. Innovation and technology for gender equality. So, you all have successful careers. You're great booking agents. Sistine, I know you have another job. VA, you've had former careers. How do you currently use technology to grow your business? Susie, let's start with you because I know this is a big one for you.
Thank you so much for having me, first of all, Carolyn. And it was really nice connecting with you in person this past week on Crystal. I think that we definitely can look at technology in two lights, right? We can look at it as a negative and a positive. And of course, I choose to look at it as how can we connect with other people, share our story, share our passion, and on top of that, grow our business. So we work in this industry of meeting people. Look at us here right now. We're all very different. We're all females and we're leading and we're definitely crushing goals and just being able to share through social media, through our platforms and connect, not only share, but connect is so important because the more that we learn from one another, I think the better off we're going to be, not only as a person, but also in our business. So I think we have the opportunity to really grow individually and then also, grow our business at the same time.
I what you've said is so important because I think it's so important that we cheer each other on. So many times we don't have to compete. We don't have to have cat fights. We don't have to be seen as pitting each other against each other. There's more than enough business out there for all of us. You have to be creative. You have to be different. You have to be good at your job. And then there's more than enough to share. And that's what I really love about kind of the digital piece of it is how can we cheer each other on? So you're absolutely right. Sustain?
I think for me, it is, I tend to be very compartmentalized. I'm able to say, okay, this needs to go here and this needs to be done over here. This needs to be here. So I live and die by my Google Calendar. I use it for client meetings. I use it for everything you can imagine is in my Google Calendar, and I can share it with my family because then I get the questions from my family of like, can you just give us a list of like where you are? So I definitely use that. But I also want to say just first, thank you for having me. But also, when Susie was talking, and I saw Susie at the DE&I discussion on Crystal, I have been following her since probably the last 2 years. So she is just a maven at social media, and so I'm going to be her one day. But I struggle in terms of the social media side of getting it all scheduled. And when I'm really good, I can schedule it out a week, sometimes two. Yay! Not that good at that. But in terms of the workload and the following up and confirmations and making sure that my clients' rooms are going to be there when they get there, that kind of thing. I live and die by my calendar. And something that I did when I started my law practice many years ago was I had a whiteboard, and I still keep a whiteboard, and it has boxes on it, and it has dates and when people need to make final payments and things. And so for me, I kind of use both. I use that whiteboard, but again, my Google Calendar is really kind of everything for me.
Yeah. VA, I've known you for a long, long time, and we will butt heads on the technology piece because you're very, and I'm not going to say you're so digital, you are streamlined in what you do and the technology you use. And I'm very, very jealous of this because I'll go in waves, right? It always comes back to a paper list for me. But you use technology and have for many, many years so seamlessly.
Yes. At one time, we lived in a motorhome, and there's not very much space in there, and you don't keep paper. Yes, I had a printer. Yes, I could print things, but I needed to be as paperless as possible and as organized as possible. And you got to remember, Carolyn, when I started, I remember Lotus 123. So technology has changed a lot. And to think that today we can connect calendars, I know exactly what you're talking about with your calendar because we live by ours. And my husband hates technology, but he wants that calendar because it's the only way we can stay in sync. And thinking about what we can do today with the CRM, what we can do with social media. I mean, it's amazing. I think the connectivity is what really comes out to me. It's that being able to FaceTime,
Mhm.
not only with clients, but with family and friends and Zoom calls. That's kind of amazing when you remember the days when you had to even call in reservations. You couldn't do that on the
Mhm.
computer.
Mhm.
We've got an agent here that's popped on that says, I haven't heard that in a long time. Lotus 123.
I've been around a long time.
So I'm curious, as women, I feel like a lot of times we put it on ourselves to be um, that all person, be constantly available, be ready to take on the business. What boundaries do you set for yourselves? And Susie, we're going to start with you because you travel a lot. Um, and yet you still manage to work, which I personally find challenging. Like when I'm traveling and I've got a purpose, like I find it really hard to do the job at the same time. So, what are some of the things? How do you set those boundaries and still enjoy your time and your family, but still manage to get the work done that you need to get done?
Honestly, that is a really good question. And I mentioned it in E&I panel that I'm still kind of trying to figure that out. I think, I had an opportunity to possibly go to Hawaii with Royal, and it presented yesterday. And I had to say no. I had to say no because I have to, again, find that balance. I do have 3 kids, and I have 2 teenagers and a toddler, my niece that I adopted. And although I wish I could do it all, I can't. And I have to be okay with that.
Mhm.
I have to be okay that I cannot do everything that I want to do. But also, in turn, and my friends will totally get on me about this, is finding that balance, especially when we're traveling, to say it's okay, they can wait, or
Mhm.
I can do this later, or I 4 years into this business, I'm still trying to really prioritize that, Carolyn. And I would be lying to you if I said that I have it all figured out, because I
Yeah.
don't. And as long as I'm honest with myself and realize where I can grow as a person, as a woman, as a mom, I think we're always a work in progress. And I don't think there is going to be that time where like we have it all figured out. But I am trying, and I'm doing things with the suggestion of you guys at KHM, like as our business continues to grow, like how can we prioritize our time and feel
Mhm.
it? Just being
Yep.
on. I'm learning as we do.
And I have to tell you, Susie, I can completely relate to that. VA's known me for a long time, and there was a time where I was burning the candle at all ends, and there really was no space for anyone, and I was not, I was not being great at anything. I was being mediocre at a lot of stuff. And I had to start to kind of prioritize. And VA, recently you said, let's not talk about work-life balance. Let's talk about work-life integration. So
Yes.
what does that mean to you? How does that differ than the work-life balance?
That means I'm not so much balancing, I'm trying to put it all together. I mean, there are times that I've had to say, okay, I need to leave this office. And one thing about working at home, I mean, it's real easy to run in here. So I've had to leave the office, but if something comes up, I'm still willing to answer the phone if it's a certain
Mhm.
person that I need to talk to. I mean, it can't be all or nothing. It's not just one way. It's got to be that blending
Mhm.
and not just this way or that way.
Right.
I've tried to just say, okay, after this time, I'm not going to work.
Mhm.
I'm
Right.
going to go in the other room. And if somebody texts me or calls or emails, I'm just going to let it go. But
Right.
there are times that you can't do that. So it's about giving yourself permission to have that integration rather than just all this way or all that way.
Right. Sustain, you have another full-time job.
I do.
You're growing your business. do you have a secret? Do you feel like you're good at that balance or that integration? Or like the rest of us, are you a work in progress?
Um, I think I think to Susie's point, I think we're always kind of a work in progress. Um,
Yes.
I have I have 3 adult children now. I guess we're going to call them adults. They're 20 somethings. So you know how that goes. Right? um, so, I have been through the stage of where Susie is with the young children and growing a business. I've always had a private law practice for over 25 years. That's always been in place. And then when I took on another full-time job, I still had that. But again, I still had my family. And I think what VA said in terms of just, I think the integration, I like that. I think that makes so much sense for us to think about in terms of, all these things that I love. How do I put them together and keep me a sane person that it's able to give my best to these different facets of life? And so when I think about, when my kids were little, I had to spend more time, with them. As they've grown, it's changed. But again, they're 20 something. So there's still a lot of time given to them. And it's by phone. It's not in person. I'm not shuttling them to, football practice or soccer practice, but there's still that commitment. I have a husband of 30 something years. He's probably going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe she can't remember, because I never remember. That's okay though. But
I
I
have
say
to
that
do
to
the
say,
math in my head.
oh my gosh, I'm always like, how many years is that? But again, what VA said, it's a lot of just kind of doing the integration. And I think we're all trying to figure it out. I'm far from perfect at it. I think one of the things that has helped me though is that ability to just compartmentalize and really kind of decide, really sometimes on a daily basis, like the night before, of like, okay, what do I need to get done tomorrow?
Mhm.
And look at my week. Okay, what can I say can wait till like the end of the week? And I think with this business in particular, with clients, I think it's extremely important for me to be able to say, okay, on this day I'm going to do this. Well, no, I'm not going to do these on this day. I'll do this on another day.
Mhm.
Because again, we do have those competing things, happening in our life. And I think that's okay. I think it's okay to say, you know what, I don't have it figured out, but um, I'm getting done the things that I need to get done, and not just need to get done. I want to do them well. I think that's for
Right.
all of us. We want to do them well. Um, and sometimes it means, okay, well, this area is going to have to sit on the back burner for a little bit while I focus on this. Um, and so does that mean we can have it all? Kinda ish. But I think, again, as long as we're honest with ourselves, I think we can, you know, be good at doing all of
Yeah.
those things.
You mentioned the idea of have it all. Do you feel like we can be it all? Or is that something we have to let go of and be good with and give ourselves grace for, that we can be something, but we can't be it all?
For me, it's definitely, you know what, I can't be everything. I can do the things that I prioritize to do very well. And that means that some things, no, I just can't do. And I'm
Mhm.
so comfortable with that. I
Yeah.
also think at my age, you get to a place where it's like your no is a full sentence and it's a wonderful thing. And I make no apologies for it. I absolutely love it.
I like that. No apologies. Susie, do you feel like you have to be it all?
That honestly, it's hard because I feel like my first of all, in my life are my children, right? And then second of all, right now is my family, my business, and I had to say no to Hawaii, and that hurt yesterday. A 9-night cruise to Hawaii with one of my favorite cruise lines. I had to say no, and I feel like all I can do is do the best that I can right
Yeah.
now. And while I continue to love what I'm doing and giving back and being present and remembering what is important in my life, which is my children, my family, and everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want to be it all, but I, like someone said, I want to be good at what it is that I'm doing. And the other
Mhm.
important thing, Carolyn, is never stop growing, never stop learning.
Yes.
And don't ever think, like, I never say to myself, I know it all, because I don't. And the minute that we get into that mindset of like I know it all, I got this, I think is when things stop for us.
Absolutely. Couldn't
Um,
agree more.
being able to be in a profession, you guys, that we absolutely love. Like I love this. I did social work for 13 years. I love that too, but I love this more. And to meet all you guys and travel and help people, experience what we're able to experience, it's a game changer for me, hands down.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's interesting when you and I do attribute a lot of this to KHM, getting up in the morning and not dreading going to work. When that computer goes on, it's like, game on. What are we doing today? There isn't a sense of dread. Now, is there a sense of dread when it comes to like clients travel and things like that? Sometimes, right? When we're having weather issues or things like that, there's that, but I never ever wake up and dread going to work for KHM and doing boot camp and being president Crystal. And that's a really nice place to be. And it sounds like you all are in that same place with your businesses. Before I let you all go, we want to end on such a positive note. In your life, what is something that you are exceptionally proud of?
Mm.
I'll
VA, let's start
that
with
one.
you. Huh?
That I have children who are grown and fully independent, and some of them are raising some beautiful grandchildren. One of them has already raised her kids. Whenever Sistine was talking about she had grown children, I have grown grandchildren.
Wow.
So the fact that they can go out and be independent in life and are experiencing life, I just think I'm very proud of that.
Mm-hmm. Who's next?
Okay, Susie, fine.
Like chicken.
Waiting you out there.
Um, I think I'm most proud of the fact that I am and continue to be a work in progress. The work that God has just done in my life on me and continues to do in me is just, I'm in awe. I'm just a little kid from Southeast Queens in New York, and the life that I have, the family that I have, the opportunities I've been able to have to be a travel advisor, to be an attorney. I'm just, again, I'm in awe most days, and I'm proud. I'm proud of the work that um, that love from so many sources has poured into me to allow me to do that, because that's what this is. Our families have allowed us to do this. Their understanding, their love really has just catapulted me and allowed me to be able to do this work that I love and at full time as well. Like I said, I'm in awe, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
I love it. Susie?
This is one of those questions, if we were on Oprah, where someone like we would start crying.
Yes.
So,
oh, trust me, the tears are there.
because I can go two ways with this, and I promise I won't be long. But I am a child of first generation immigrants that came to this country in the 70s. My parents were dirt poor, growing up in Mexico. My mom didn't have a refrigerator. They didn't have beds. They slept on the floor. True story. My grandma would make their clothes out of used curtains that they would donate to them and make shoes out of tires. Okay. So my parents came to this country in the 70s and worked really hard to provide for myself and my brothers. I went to Europe last year for the first time in my life. I have a college degree. I'm now a business owner. I have amazing sub agents. And it is unreal to know that everything that my parents sacrificed for, and my grandparents, and now here I am, you know what I mean? Building something for myself, my family, my company. And it's just seriously like, pinch me. Like I couldn't believe the fact that I got to go to London and Italy, knowing that that was a dream since I was a little girl. And I'm not making this up. I wish I could bring my mom and my dad on, because they knew how much travel meant to me when I was younger. And so I am proud of the fact that I didn't give up on myself. And despite everything that I've gone through as an adult and giving up one career, starting another one, um, I'm here. I'm here with you guys on KHM Live today.
Yep.
To know that I'm doing something that I love, building something that I love, is just, it's just unreal. That was my Oprah moment, by the way.
And I love that you shared it with us. And there's something about, I've had other jobs. There was something about building something, which I always say, from my kitchen table with a file box, right? That was my office.
Mhm.
And then after a few years actually needing a space, there's something to be said for that, right? I wasn't working for anyone but me. And I had to figure out how to make that happen. And so I can completely echo just this ability and this pride that I have for what I've been able to grow. And then eventually not transition, but add to that business, this role that I have. And I'll share with you guys quickly before I let you go. I was telling you beforehand, I came home from Crystal and my son received his Eagle Scout. We did his Court of Honor on Sunday, and he's 15, right? So most don't achieve it until about 18, right? And so this was very special, and we had the ceremony, and we decided, my daughter and my son are very good friends and love each other a lot. And she opened up the ceremony, and I had written a little something. Well, she said, "I'm not reading what you wrote, Mom. I'm reading what I wrote." And the way she opened it up was so beautiful. I started crying. And then my son had to read his speech as well. And so between the two of them, and then the nice things that people said about my son during this ceremony, I looked at my husband and I'm like, we did that. We did that. And I was so proud, but we did that while I was trying to grow a business as well. So somehow along the way, what I was trying to grow also allowed this to grow as well. And it was one of those moments where I thought, oh my gosh, like, I'm kind of proud of myself.
Mhm.
And the fact that I've been able to do all of this, and not always right, not always perfect, but to watch them in their relationship and to see that was really, really special, and something I will never ever forget. And if someone was to ask me, what are you most proud of? I'm proud that I was able to raise two kids that
Mhm.
really love each other, not because they're siblings, but really deep down have a genuine love and affection for spending time together. So, ladies, thank you for bearing your hearts today, for being women that I love and respect. And we've got so many wonderful things here. Besides my children, my business, I never thought I'd be so happy. And that's, oh my gosh, is that the most amazing thing when you see people say, I never thought I could be this happy in work? And we get to be a part of that
Yeah.
every day. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me. And it will not be the last time, I can assure you. I'll be knocking on your door again.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Carolyn.
guys. And happy National
Bye.
Women's Day. Thanks for being part of my community. I'm in awe of each of you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you, you
Thank you.
guys. All right. Gotta love them. Our next guest represents one of my favorite destinations, here to celebrate the really fun stuff, is Lisa Mullins from Universal. Hi, Lisa. Another women to celebrate the day with.
Hey, Carolyn, how are you? Thank you for
Good.
having me. Yeah, what a
Good.
cool day to be on the show with you.
It is. It is to celebrate with another successful woman who gets to represent one of the most fun companies ever.
Yes,
But
for
first,
sure.
you joined us at Crystal last week. What was the week like for you? You had a totally different, well, your role was similar to mine, but you spent a lot of time working with agents throughout the week.
We did, yeah. And I mean that, I did the Facebook Live before the conference, and I know Chantel and Bridget asked me what I was most looking forward to. And I said just how much time that we were going to be able to see and spend with everybody. And that, having done the week and been off now, that was my favorite thing. Just the fact that we got so much time.
Yeah.
We hosted 3 or 4 dinners. You talked about the silent disco, the nightclub. There was some great socializing in those late hours. And then we had a lot of fun being part of the awards, being part of the presentation. We did our fun family feud. So it just that time in front and with the agents is invaluable, because it's just so hard to get,
It is.
throughout the year. So to have that full 6 days and all of that fun stuff happening was really cool.
Awesome. So speaking of Family Feud centered around 2 of our favorite brothers, Mario and Luigi. And I know you have some fantastic, it's been open for a few weeks now, but what
Correct.
is brand new at Universal Hollywood?
Yeah, so we did kind of give it a nod when we did our Family Feud. But yes, we just opened in California our first US Super Nintendo World over there in Universal Studios in Hollywood. So just, as you say, it's hard to overuse the word fun when you're talking about Universal, but that is another just fun addition. It's a whole world. So that idea of immersiveness where you are stepping into the Mario games. We have things, of course, that the ride within the world is the Mario Kart ride. So you get into a Mario Kart. We have our Toadstool Cafe where you can get all the fun themed stuff, all the food. We have our one-up factory, so all that really cool merchandise just puts you in. So that is what Universal, I think, does best, is that idea of immersiveness where we're just creating a world, and it's a make-believe world where you can step in and leave the real world behind, even just for a little bit. So
well, and I always think of Universal as exhilarating and taking you out of the norm. You never quite know what to expect when you're getting on a ride.
Exactly.
So you have to kind of be prepared for everything. And it's also one of those destinations, and I have not been to Hollywood, but I have been down to Orlando a couple times. And what I really love about it is how manageable it is.
Yes.
It's not overwhelming. It's stimulating, but it's not overwhelming. And I think that's what I appreciate most about it. I can go in and do what I need to do and accomplish it and feel really good about the time and the money that I've spent, because I've been able to do it all.
Yeah,
in
I
a
totally
good
agree.
amount of
And
time.
and I think too, a lot of people love our destination because you can have a little bit of both. You can have, of course, the thrills and spills in our theme park. That is what we do best. But we have some great on-site hotels where you can also build in that vacation element. And that's a nice balance to have in our destination, because it's go, go, go for a lot of the time. You want to hit those big attractions. Sometimes there might be a line that you have to wait in here or there. But let's say by 2 or 3 in the afternoon, you just feel, the Florida heat gets to you. You can be back in your hotel in a matter of minutes and cocktail in hand or by the pool with the kids. So you can have it all almost when you come and see Universal. The trick is to make sure that you have enough time, because I think a lot of people still think we're maybe a 1 or a 2 day destination, and we've grown so much that's just not the case anymore. We are a multiple day destination for sure.
Well, and let's just face it, you guys have the express pass down. Nobody does it quite like Universal.
Yes.
I don't know what the secret is, but that
The
unlimited
secret is, I
express
think we
pass,
try not to complicate it. That is, you can either purchase it as an add-on and then you have it. It's unlimited, meaning you can go on all the rides as many times as you choose, or you get it when you stay in our 3 premier hotels. So, it comes included with the stay. Again, no restrictions. It's printed on your room key and off you go into the park. So that is a big, big benefit for sure.
It's a huge benefit. And I'm going to be honest, I never ever sell Universal without one of the top 3 hotels.
Yes.
I never
And
do.
I always say, if anyone has never been to see us, we have a great online training program, the Universal Partner Community. Within there, once you've done the training, we offer every agent a complimentary 3-day, 3-park ticket for Orlando. And you have the option to purchase 4 more at a 50% discount. So I will, and I will say as well, a lot of agents can feel overwhelmed when it comes to a theme park destination. They think there's a lot to it. There's really not with Universal. I truly believe when you come and experience the destination firsthand, It will click, so much quicker than trying to figure it out online. And then once you understand that we have 3 theme parks and we have 8 on-site hotels, and when you understand, the differences with the hotels, what's going to be right for your client, that's it. Then you're ready to go.
So let's talk about some of the new things coming. Texas.
Yeah, so we have announced quite a few new things. So, well, before we even get into the new announcements, I should say that we are currently under construction here in Orlando for our newest park, which is Universal's Epic Universe. So, we have a huge expansion coming to Orlando, due to open in 2025. So, we are fully underway. It's quite exciting actually when you drive by now, because for a long time it was kind of infrastructure work that you couldn't really see. But really recently you can start to see some things kind of rise and some structures going up. So, it's going to start coming alive before our eyes pretty soon.
And
So that's here.
Do you know what parts, like the premise behind that? Like what's going to
Yeah,
be part of
so
it?
the idea is, it's a universe. So there is going to be multiple worlds within. So far, we have officially announced that Super Nintendo World will be coming to Orlando as part of Epic Universe. And then there's many other worlds that we have not yet officially announced. So there is still a lot more information to come on Epic. It's going to be a very exciting kind of 18 to 24 months ahead while we announce all of those new additions. We know that we will have more hotels coming. We will have a new entertainment center. So a version, I guess, of City Walk that people are familiar with, more entertainment, dining, retail, all of that good stuff. But yes, a lot. It's still very minimal information. We're still waiting on a lot of the information to come. But we did actually, even while we're waiting on that, we've announced even more. So we announced that we're building a new park in Texas. So located in Frisco, just north of Dallas. What we know about that one, we don't have a timeline quite yet, so I'm not sure. I can't give a date on that one. But it's going to be more focused on our families and younger guests. So that will be the focus of our Texas-based park. So definitely focused on those younger guests, more of a family feel, so maybe not quite as many of those huge thrill rides that we're more familiar with here in Orlando. So a little bit more focused on a family vibe, which is cool too, because I think that might become, the first step in the journey of a Universal experience too. So that's going to Texas. And we also announced a permanent Halloween Horror Nights attraction going into Las Vegas.
Oh gosh.
Yes. Yes. So, and I always say, Halloween is one of those love-hate relationships, but Halloween is huge. It has been probably one of the most successful events that Universal has ever done and continue to do. The demand is there, the market is there. Vegas is an adult playground, so I think it fits really well to have that fun kind of horror experience. We do it as an adult focused experience at Universal, so I think that will play really well into Vegas, and it's a fun addition. And I just think it's exciting times. It's a lot of growth, a lot of fun stuff happening, and it's just cool to see. And I think it really speaks to how well the theme park industry and how well Universal is doing right now. And that's hugely in part to our partnerships with the likes of KHM. You guys have gone strength to strength with us, continue to grow, continue to put our brand out there and send your guests to see us. And it's all part of it.
Well, and I just love the idea of Super Mario World because, I remember playing that for the first time on, the oldest version of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Now my kids try and get me to play it on the Switch, and there's so much movement. I can't keep up with it. I'm always terrible.
Well, I think too,
it's nostalgic.
It is. There's the nostalgia element. I think there's the multi-generational element. I think it's very similar to, we are, of course, the home of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And that's a very similar kind of a content where, parents know it, kids know it, grandparents know it. They can all sit and watch the movie, or Nintendo, they can all sit and play the game. So, and that's one thing that Universal does really well. It's the perfect place to bring a family together, especially that teenage years where they might, I know you said your kids are fabulous at 15, but there's not, some 15-year-olds don't love to hang out with their parents all the time. But I think I love to see when they come to somewhere like Universal, we're that kind of, we're a level playing ground, so that it brings them together and they can all have a good time, leave the real world behind. Like I say, step into the Wizarding World, step into Super Nintendo World, and do that as a family. So that's one of my favorite things.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more. We were there just a few years ago over Christmas. And what I loved most about it is they were so involved in what we were doing
Yeah.
that the phones were never out.
Yes.
They were
Yeah. And
always
that's a big
away.
deal these days. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
And
big
we
deal.
were talking more about where should we go next and what
Yeah.
ride. And, at Orlando, there's still rides that I grew up on, like E.T. I mean, oh, that's still
No, the
there.
last original still
Yes.
standing. Yeah,
And
last
so
original.
speaking of that, if you're taking suggestions for Epic, I'm going to put in my request
Okay.
for Jaws to come back.
Oh, I
Scariest
know.
ride ever,
I
ever,
know.
ever, ever. It
It's
needs to
hard,
come back.
there's all this, like you say, nostalgia is a big part, but then you got to make way for all this new and exciting
I
stuff. So it's
know.
always that juggling act. So
I
yeah.
I f I remember being there as a kid and that shark coming up on the side of the
Yeah.
boat and screaming
Well,
my
you
lungs
said
out.
that you have not done Universal in California. They still have
They st
Jaws on the backlot tour, so there's your excuse to go to
All
Universal
right, there yep,
Studios
I'm
in
gonna book my
Hollywood.
plane ticket. That
Yeah.
sounds awesome. Well,
Yeah.
it just sounds like everything is just growing and
Yes.
expanding, and you're listening to that client base to hear what it is they're looking for and what they need out of a
Yeah.
vacation. And I just feel like so many great things are happening and are on the horizon for Universal. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yes, and it's we want KHM on the ride with us. You guys are great partners, and we're excited for what the future holds too.
Oh
So
my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Lisa, for being here
thank you.
today. Thank you for being part of our Women's Day celebration.
Yeah, and great day to be here. Thank you so much. I really
Enjoy.
appreciate
And
it.
again, it was so wonderful to spend time with you last week on Crystal, and we can't wait for next year.
I know. Yes. Thank you so much,
All right.
Carolyn. Thank you. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Take care. Oh, you guys, so much fun. I hadn't been to Universal. The first time I had ever been was probably maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and fell in love with it immediately. Knew my kids would love it, and we've had some really, really good times there. And I love how manageable it is. It's not overwhelming to me, and it's easy to plan. So if you're not sure what segment of business to get into, this is a really easy one to do because it can be overwhelming to our clientele. But I'm telling you, if you take some of that training and you really get a feel for the parks and the hotels and how to manage it, you could be such a value add to your clients. So you guys, thanks so much. So much activity on our chat today. I love seeing you all here. It's just wonderful. So thank you to our sponsors and our continued support of KHM today, especially our overall sponsor, Apple Leisure Group. You guys, next week, watch. We are having our annual St. Patty's Day cocktail competition with Kevin Kelly. Last year, Joanne won it. The year before, I won it. But this year, I'm bringing my A game. So tune in next week, 3 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. And we're going to also hear from one of our favorite suppliers. So don't miss out. Take care, you guys. Have a great rest of your week.